Salute, salute, man. Yeah. Salute to the internal indigenous spiritual most high. Chose only God and your mama can love you. And last but not least, one time, in remembrance of Beaver, Jimmy McNair, brother in the cut, may he rest in power. You know what I mean? Here we go, here we go. Where's we go? I needs me shilling so I control. You know, I've learned now that whenever people tell you it's not about race, they are subliminally telling you that it is indeed about race. It's just they're telling you it's not about race because they want to protect their race, you know. So they will accuse you of pulling the race card, race baiting, playing victim, this, that, and the third to protect them. But I want y'all to consider something. I want y'all to consider something here. All right? Let's walk this back to Carmelo Anthony first and foremost. Carmelo might have did something wrong, but Carmelo immediately found authorities, turned himself in, and did things the right way. The lady in South Florida who was walked upon aggressively by Bartholomew, whatever his name is, um, she did everything by the book. She waited for the authorities to arrive. She put a firearm on top of the car. I mean, she did everything right. Now you have one black guy who goes out on a boat with three white teenagers. The black guy doesn't return. His body washes up 2 days later, a day after a massive search. And they have to call in the FBI to get questions. Those three white guys have nothing to say about someone who was like a brother to them. They've gone completely silent. A mom who is a judge is also, going silent and telling lies. And now the friend Javon, whoever his name is, he's out here saying this, that, and the third when he should really be keeping his mouth shut. So where's the same energy you guys had for Austin Metcalf? An innocent life that was lost. He didn't do anything wrong, so you guys say. When he did everything wrong, that's probably why he lost his life. I'm pretty sure that's why he lost his life. But where's that same energy for a young life who did absolutely nothing wrong but trust three white guys as brothers to go on a boating trip to celebrate July 4th? Where's the same energy? Where is the same outrage? Where's the same energy? Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me it's not about race. I know it's distinctively about race because you guys don't even have the same energy for deceased Nolan Wells, who was unalived by someone who looks like a majority of people with all this anti-black rhetoric. But you don't have that same energy you had for Austin Metcalf. You know why? Because it was someone black who unalived Austin Metcalf. So yes, it is about race. You mean to tell me Mississippi has had the most lynchings in the history? In the history. And they have to call in Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and the FBI to get answers? 11 days later? Y'all had answers the same day this happened with Carmelo and Austin. You had answers the same day this happened with the young lady down there in Broward County in the Walmart parking lot. And we're still waiting on justice? You guys control the system, so all of you there's no foul play. You're prolonging the autopsy results. You did an autopsy before they sent him to Washington for an autopsy, an independent autopsy. How is your autopsy not back out in public yet? Explain that. Explain that. You want everyone to trust the system, but you don't give people a reason to trust the system. And we know who runs the system. We know who runs it. You guys are basically saying it's okay for a white life to take a black life, and even when they're wrong, you're going to protect the white life because they're white. But when a black life protects his black life by taking a white life, you've got a problem with it because he took a white life. You guys are so damn sinister, a walking contradiction to humanity. It's a shame. And then you call yourselves Christians. You call yourselves Christians. You try to make it look like you're so innocent, you're perfect, you're flawless. And you're not. You're demonic and damn near, you're downright evil. They have to call in the FBI to get answers for a white life. And Carmelo trusted these guys like they were brothers, and none of them have nothing to say. Because now society wants to protect the white assailants, the white perpetrators, the white thugs. Everybody on that boat probably has something to do with it, allegedly. I'm willing to bet Warren and Jax definitely has something to do with it. Warren and Jax definitely has something to do with it. I guarantee. I guarantee. And I heard Lakeisha say earlier, the same energy y'all had to rush Carmelo off to prison, shave his head, put the pictures out there on mainstream media, have the same energy when these Neanderthals get convicted. Have the same energy, because the FBI is in town, baby. And Ben Crump gonna get to the bottom of this. I didn't even like Ben Crump before this. I respect Ben Crump now. I still don't like Al Sharpton. There's nothing he can do to make me like it. He's a pastor without a church. You know, there's nothing he can do to make me like him. But Ben Crump, you have my full support right now, sir. My full support. You guys were having babies around here about Austin Metcalf evil ass. Oh, Justin, for no one should lose their life. No one should lose their life going boating with 3 white people either. Where's the same energy? Where's the same concern? Huh? Huh? But it's not about race though, right? See, if this is 2 black people, or if Nolan went out on a boat full of black people, yeah, y'all have so much to say about that. But you're keeping quiet because you know your evil ways. You know your evil intentions. You know how y'all think first thing in the morning. Y'all think divide, conquer. Y'all think unalive. Y'all think take, steal, lie. Y'all know exactly. And it's in you. It's in you. You're proof of inbreds. A majority of you are proof of walking inbreds. You made it the mama with the daddy, and they made a son, and then you made it the son with the mama. They made a nephew son, a brother son, or whatever you want to call it. And it just went downhill from there with some of these people, man. It is so evil. How do you sleep at night knowing that you're covering something like this up? And there's a family who wants answers, just like the Metcalf family wanted answers. Just like Freddie Gray's family wanted answers. Trayvon's family wanted answers. Breonna Taylor's family wanted answers. Terrence Crutcher's family wanted answers. Philando Castile's family wanted answers. Sonia Massey's family wanted answers. Sandra Bland's people wanted answers. Botham Jean's people wanted answers. Walter Scott people wanted answers. Dwight Clark people wanted answers. Rakia Boyd people wanted answers. I can go on and on and on. Michael Brown Jr. people wanted answers. Trey Lance people wanted answers. Do I have to keep going? Do I have to keep going? This is hysterical. It's hysterical. So you only care when it's a white life, even if that white life is in the wrong. Austin was in the wrong, and it cost him his life. And these 3 white boys, 4, because there's actually somebody driving the boat, they're wrong. They're wrong, and you're still going to protect them the same way you protected George Zimmerman, the same way you protected Rick Chow, the same way you try to protect Derek Chauvin, the same way you protected Daniel Penny, the same way you protected Kyle Rittenhouse, the same way you protected Shiloh Hendricks, the same way you wanted to protect Dylan Roof. It's okay, though, right? It's okay as long as you protect the white life, right? Whether they're in the right or in the wrong. And y'all quick to want to call somebody racist. No, racist is when you have to call the FBI in because 11 days ago a black life was taken amongst white people and mum's the damn word. Now all these white people had something to say about Austin. Now all these white people got their damn mouth shut and glued like they under gag orders when it comes to Nolan Wells. My, how the tables have turned. Liars and deceivers. And you wonder why nobody trusts y'all. You wonder why nobody like y'all. You wonder why nobody rock with y'all. You wonder why we don't do business with y'all. You wonder why we're telling our children to stay the F from around y'all now. And it shouldn't be this way. And this ain't for everybody. This ain't for the whole white community. No. No. We rock with the good white folks. But white people, we don't do them. And this is why we don't do them. Let's check it out, y'all. I got into a bit of a rant early. You know what I'm saying? But what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Relates to this Nolan Wells case. It's Wednesday, and as you guys may already know, the funeral is set for Monday, which is the 20th, I believe. Yeah, I think Monday is the 20th. Let me look at my phone. But yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I don't need to look at my phone. I know it is. So, guys, as I stated before on previous videos, the parents never saw the body. There was a reason that they didn't.
Never saw the body. Imagine what Emmett Till's mother felt. When she bravely took pictures of Emmett Till's body in the condition it was in, and she made it public. Imagine the courage she exercised to host an open casket funeral so that his ascendants can look their own evil in the face. Their own hatred in the face. Their own hostilities in the face. Their own violence in the face. Imagine how the parents of Nolan Wells feels right now. Yes, I've been hard on the parents, but these are still grieving parents. They still lost a child. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. No parent is perfect. And no parent should outlive their children. No parent should outlive their children. But now mom's the word, though. Mom's the word. Y'all was all pro Austin, had all that energy for Austin. Now the energy you have for Austin, you got that energy for the white guys instead of Nolan. Y'all couldn't make that make sense if you tried, man. Because if this is a young white body, a young white life amongst black people, somebody been locked up that day. Y'all be around here burning cities up and burning flags and marching and everything right now, trying to get some justice. And y'all know it. You hear Jake Lang all over the internet right now, talking about black people are bad for America and society. That y'all know it. But we also know that y'all can't be accountable. We also know that you cannot be accountable. Fair use educational purposes.
See the body. In fact, we know that they said that Nolan had to be identified via dental records. That only happens when your face is not recognizable. So from that clue right there, we know that the condition of the body is not good.
He was beaten. This isn't a condition from being out at sea and the tide washing you up. No, 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 no. His body was placed there a day after that search. If not the same day that the search concluded, later on that night, you know. Maybe that's why they were cleaning the boat 3 a.m. at the judge's house. You know? So, he was beaten. He was tortured. He was beaten and he was tortured. Oh yeah, somebody's going to jail.
Now, all know.
And they better get 35 years or better because this is definitely a crime of passion.
Nolan's parents have ever asked for was a thorough investigation. And that's pretty much what anybody would want. They want to know what happened to their son. As we have talked about on this channel, the factors just don't add up. They just don't add up. This is the same situation, my good black folks, that we saw in the Carmelo Anthony case.
Yes, it is.
We wasn't making this up. We wasn't conspiracy theorists. We were concerned because we knew that what we saw did not add up. And voila, what did we learn? That Carmelo was definitely railroaded, just like the good people I saw. Same but different situation here. Carmelo,
and I'm gonna be honest, black people didn't even rock with Charlie Kirk like that. But we definitely knew that Charlie Kirk was it wasn't what they said it was. It wasn't what they said it was. We know that. It wasn't what they said it was.
Anthony's mother and father lost him to prison. In this case, Nolan Wells' mother and father lost him because he was unalive. People are saying that Nolan Wells was allegedly burned and possibly tortured. What did his parents want?
Do y'all hear that? Allegedly burned and possibly tortured. What's up, Sharice? I ain't saw you around in a while, sweetheart. I ain't saw you around.
They just wanted to know what happened to their son. What happened? And what our baby did.
I'm doing good. I'm doing better now that you're here. I haven't saw you in a while. I'm glad your man done let you out the house. You know what I'm saying? You come kick it with us. Come kick it with us. Oh, we got a new thing going on, Sharice. All the moderators have put up profile pictures. We let the racists hide behind, these blue letters and masks and white hoodies and stuff. We let them racists look the truth in their face. So whenever you get time, sweetheart, put up a profile picture.
We have the honor and the privilege of helping to lead an independent investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. Why?
When the sheriff came out and said that he would treat this investigation the same way he would treat any other investigation. But yet, you have to call in what I call a partial black caucus, Al Sharpton, and Benjamin Crump, for an independent autopsy and an independent investigation, an independent probe into what happened to an 18-year-old black male, black teenager, who was on a boating trip with 3 white guys that he trusted and looked at as brothers. As brothers. They spent the night over each other's house, over each other's homes and things. Can you imagine? I just could not. How do you live with that, man? How do you live with that? How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? Well, what's up, ma'am? What's up, Miss Regina? Good to see you. Pleasant surprise. What's up with you?
Do you say we need to be retained to lead an independent investigation? It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair...
Wait, man, what you doing on here? Ain't your butt supposed to be at work? Don't make me call your job and snitch on you. You know who I'm talking to, Eyes. That's good. No, I'm enjoying my favors. Life is good. Life is good. Okay, you better be at work. I'm gonna call your job and snitch. I'm a 6'9". Yeah. I'm a 6'9". I'm gonna tell your job to pass the collections plate to you.
Investigation where their black son ended up dead after going out on a boat with 3 young white men. The history of Mississippi is...
Oh yeah, I'm a whole tattletale. I'm a whole tattletale, boy. I would Charleston white you. You better get back in the old time. You better be on that elevator every time. I'm calling. I'm calling. I'm calling. I'm telling you. I'm calling.
Something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many Black Americans.
He was a special kid, but again, just heart was so big. And
Thank you for popping your head in, though. It means a lot. I've missed you in here. It means a lot.
we're gonna miss him dearly. We just want to know. We want an honest, thorough investigation. That's all we're asking for.
Parents ask for an honest and thorough investigation. Again, guys, we're not conspiracy theorists.
Who should have to ask for an honest and thorough investigation into the unaliving of their child? No one's going to accept there's no foul play. He drowned. He knew how to swim. His body is unrecognizable. You had to use his dental records to identify him. There should be an investigation. No parent is going to accept that. And it's not racist not to trust someone telling you that. It's racist for someone to believe that they can tell you that and think that you're going to buy it. Now that's racist. That's spoiled. That symbolizes the sentiment of we've lied to y'all all this time and you believed it. Why we can't lie to you now and get you to believe it? Our shape peoples, like us being African Americans, like us being from Africa at all. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, we know better than this. We know better than this. We know better than this. Our lineage starts right here. They're the immigrants. They're the visitors. They're the guests in our home. Somehow they are the minority globally, but yet they are the majority when it comes to chaos. Somehow.
You feel in your heart about this Nolan Wells case, you're pretty accurate. Now, this video has been circulating that I'm going to bring up. And what they're saying is they know people in the field as it relates to transporting bodies. And information was leaked that Nolan Wells, I'm going to say allegedly because this hasn't been confirmed, okay? Allegedly, his body had been burned, he was mistreated, and possibly tortured. Let's get into it.
Today. So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, remains, things like that. So today I got a call from that person and they were just talking about the body that they came across. So it's Nolan Wells. So before Nolan called that, he said that the body was mistreated. It looked abused. It like he was tortured. Looked as if he was burnt, maybe. Where? Face, body, said he was burnt. And not only that, his body was mistreated when they transported him. So as they were transporting him, he was.
These are witnesses coming forward. They were friends with the guy who was transporting Nolan's body. Right. They lied and said he drowned. They were never supposed to recover his body. That's why they took his cell phone, so it didn't ping and get off his location. But Nolan saw something, and Nolan had something in that phone that they did not want exposed. They did not want exposed. That's why I say this was a crime of passion. They probably loved him, but at the split second, they had to do what they had to do, which is return to the savage nature that they come from. And from that point on, well, Nolan's body is proof of that outcome. Sorry to say and sad to say. But these are the people that we live around. These are the people that run our government. These are the people we have to trust. These are the people that we can't turn our backs on. We can't turn our backs on. And they are human beings like us. They're just not like us for some reason, and not all some. Not all some. But this is sad. This is very sad.
to face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting the body, when, only a couple of people work that job, they all know you don't transport the body face down. It's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them fixed up. Well, specifically his body whatever reason, was face down. And me personally, I took that as disrespect.
Yeah.
Heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
on the internet.
But today, we actually found out a lot about his autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
I'm so sorry that family have to go through this. Really, just
want to give our condolences to the family. That's a mom or moms, grandmothers, dads, family. Period. Just we give the most prayers to you, and we stand behind you because we know
right
what really happened.
Right. So,
and at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered up, or whatever lies they're trying to cover up, we're sorry.
Yeah.
And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today
was unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And that's why we want to inform what's going on during the transport. Like that.
Something you can be quiet on.
At all.
When you've seen something so heartbreaking as a child, go through something traumatic.
Yes.
It hurts to know that was done to him in the ways that we can't even express.
Right.
And as a person, you should have some type of humanity.
Right.
And I felt like those people who were transporting him did not have humanity in no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that you did that to.
Right.
So this child needs justice. Because we're not going to sleep until he gets it.
And I heard the feds are in Mississippi right now, so justice for no.
But yeah, we look at him as a child, but in their eyesight, he's just 3/5 a human being. He's only 3/5 a human being. That's it. No more, no less. That's it. He's only 3/5 a human being. He's not a child in their eyes. He's property. He's an animal. He's a thug. He's not human. That's why they're able to do this with a straight face. These people really do believe that they are superior. These people really do believe that they matter and they matter only. If you matter so much, why are you out here marching, trying to tell the world you matter? If no one's trying to replace you, why are you out here marching, angry, feeling like you're being replaced? Superior people act like superior people. But people with animalistic behaviors continue to act as animals. That's a word right there, man.
Nolan Wells, no matter what, our heart goes out to his mom, his family, everybody.
And just know, families, we're coming for you.
Yeah. We'll talk about Nolan Wells.
So here's the deal, guys. That was really hard to even listen to. Like, my heart is, as well goes out. Like, this is terrible. I mean, it is so wrong, but we still have to talk about it, because if we remain quiet, it's like we are actually helping them. So, as I have been saying over the last few days, now that we're getting closer to Nolan Wells' funeral, it's going to be all over social media what his body looked like. And y'all, brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. If y'all remember Emmett Till's funeral, his mother took a picture and she put it all out because she wanted everybody to know what those nasty people had done to her son. If Emmett Till's mother would have not put that picture out, we would never have known. The reason why I want you guys to make sure you are mentally ready, I feel like this is history repeating itself. And I tiptoed around this. But now, being that it's Wednesday, next Monday will be a funeral, okay? They are saying that Nolan Wells' body and his face, well, I'm sorry, don't let me put words in their mouths. I believe they specifically mentioned his face. If you guys recall, I said the fact that he needs to be identified from the dental records, guys, nobody is being identified from dental records unless they are unrecognizable. So tell me, the story was, I do believe that he stayed, and when I say the story, I do believe, I'm saying the lie, the story that they all came up with, because based on everything that I saw, this is a replay of Carmelo Anthony, the friends that say that they were the friends, now coming out, yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, just like I didn't buy the shit in the Carmelo Anthony case, and now it's coming out that they hid evidence to protect white racist bullies, okay? Now, in this particular case, the family has not saw the body. That's strategic. That's strategic.
I'm glad she touched on that about protecting white bullies. Austin Metcalf was a white bully, a thug. These 4 white guys on that boat, bullies, thugs. What is white community doing? What is white society doing? Protecting them. Not the innocent, but them. But they'll tell you it's not about race. They will tell you it's not about race. We just watched another modern day Emmett Till take place. Y'all heard the condition of Nolan's body, man. They told us that he drowned. They told us there was no foul play. That was the first sign that there was something wrong. That was the first sign that there was foul play. Because the first thing you said is you didn't suspect any foul play. We know that y'all don't think white people do anything wrong. So we know when y'all tell us no foul play, that is definitely foul play. That is definitely foul play. Definitely. If there was no foul play, this young man's body would not look this way. This young man's body would not look this way. Being at sea does not burn you. Does not burn you. His face was burned. They set him on fire, ablaze. This was a sacrifice. He was not the only person it happened to that day. There was another young brother we're going to be discussing in this live stream that it happened to even before Nolan Wells on the same day. And he was out with his white friends as well. Y'all, they sent out a memo that the black community did not get. And it was not intended for the black community to receive that memo on America's 250th birthday. But trust me, they purged. That was a sacrifice. It was a national purge of black people on July 4th, on America's 250th worst day. That's what it was, ladies and gentlemen. It shouldn't take all of this to investigate a life. It shouldn't take all of this to do the right thing. We watched Carmelo do the right thing in the midst of doing the wrong thing. And I can't say the brother did the wrong thing because I wish Nolan Wells would have did what Carmelo did and he'll still be here. So what Carmelo did looks to be the right thing. But we're surrounded by them. But had he poked somebody that looked like him when they died, then maybe we could have room to say that he did the wrong thing. But now with the reputation you guys are creating for yourselves and this bully mentality, Carmelo definitely did the right thing. And I wish Nolan would have known not to trust them. I wish Nolan would have been comfortable in the skin he was in. I wish Nolan had a poker. A poker.
Strategic. But again, there's going to be a funeral here on Monday. They say that the body was burned and mistreated. And when they say mistreated, they're just not getting into it. For someone to say a body was mistreated, there has to be clear physical evidence of damage to the face or the body. We have not heard this before, people. So brace.
Think about it, y'all. They say the body was mistreated. There were things done to Nolan Wells even after he was deceased. This also proves that his body was taken back to that island. They had fun brutalizing him even in his eternal rest. Even in his, y'all, this is a savage behavior we know of all too well. This points to one specific degree of people, one humane existence, but different characteristical trait of one person, one race of people. Because black people don't do this. Black people don't do this. But we have history that tells us of what group of people are capable of pulling off such inhumane acts, such hatred, such disdain for other people, just because, even if it's just color of skin.
Yourselves for Monday. I expect photos to be all over social media because I don't anticipate that the mother is going to not share those photos. She would need to share those because we can't keep this a secret.
This is the same thing that Emmett Till's mom had to do. And we watched those two white thugs get a jury of 11 other white people who look just like them, and we watched them deliberate for 1 hour and acquit those two white men when it was proof upon proof, evidence on top of evidence that they were guilty. Even they came out and admitted it later on after their acquittal. This is what we're dealing with, but trust this system, right? Trust this system, right? Y'all ain't never saw nobody get shipped off to prison that fast. Y'all ain't never saw nobody get sentenced, get convicted and sentenced all in the same damn day like that. I've never seen it. And I've been through the system. Didn't happen to me that way. You know, this is unprecedented. They were definitely trying to hide something. Even in that Carmelo case, they were trying to hide something. And they were trying to hide something right here. No one did all of this to Austin's body. Carmelo even asked, was Austin okay? You think these 3-4 white thugs asking Nolan was okay? They were out eating the next day while they were searching for Nolan. They were seen out public eating while the rest of the community was out on Horn Island searching for Nolan Wells. Yeah, that's a lot of love right there. That's one hell of a friend, man.
Nolan Wells allegedly burned and tortured and mistreated. They even go as far as to say that his body was disrespected during the transportation. Listen,
Disrespected during the transportation. What does that mean? While you were loading him to transport, did you get angry and kick the hell out of his corpse because he happened to pop back? What does this mean? What does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? As you come in, please hit the like button, please, and thank you.
Have not been to coroner school. I don't know nothing about the profession.
As you come in, please hit that like button, please, and thank you, y'all. Please and thank you. You know, please and thank you.
But I know you don't place a person that's dead or alive on their face, okay? Because if it was a person who, needed help with moving and you put them on their face, then now you just gave them a bigger problem. You don't place anybody on their face unless they're alive and they...
Dude, you asked me how come I can't show my face and you don't have a profile picture up? You're not showing your face. See? Y'all people don't think, man. Y'all people don't think, man. Y'all people don't think. Y'all people don't think. Low IQ. Low IQ.
Hey, can you roll me on my face? I like to sleep like that. But the fact that he was placed on his face, as they stated, he was disrespected and then allegedly burned and tortured.
As we come in, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit that like button, please and thank you. We're talking about the Nolan Wells case. We're talking about Carmelo Anthony. You know, when they say it's not about race, we know they're going to get angry. We don't care if they get angry. We know how they operate. All of them are not the same. But, you know, our truth will never change. The truth can never change.
So today, we actually know someone that works transporting bodies, remains, and things like that. So today I got a call from that person, and they were just talking about the body that they came across.
So it's Nolan Wells.
So before knowing all that, he said that the body was mistreated. Yeah. It looked abused. It looked like he was tortured. Looked at
It looked abused, he was tortured. You tell me, how many people have you saw and you say, oh, you look like he was tortured? For somebody to use those type of words, torture is extreme. If I were to look into just go to the dictionary and look up the word torture. Torture generally means subjected to extreme physical or mental anguish. Well, we know it's physical because nobody knows what's in the head, especially of a deceased person. Torment or severe distortion. The term originates from the Latin word torcor, whatever. So basically, it means both literal and figurative context to describe pain, difficult circumstances, or objects. He was tortured.
as if he was burnt, maybe.
As if he was burnt. So that means that there is some serious discoloration on his skin, scabbing, which would indicate some kind of burning. What happened to Nolan Wells? This doesn't add up. And let's be honest, the friend stories don't add up. Okay? None of it adds up. We have everybody speaking out to try to bring justification to some bullshit when we haven't heard the first three boys who have now went and obtained attorneys. Their mammy judge is speaking out, which it seems like she's intimidating witnesses, and now we're finding out that Nolan Wells was allegedly burned and tormented.
Where? Face, body, said he was burnt.
Face, body, they say he was burned. So yeah, this gets even a little bit, because not only his face, his body. So what happened to him? Like his clothes were like, what? His face, his body would indicate this is face, this is body. So that they remove his clothes. These people are sick.
And not only that,
He wasn't wearing clothes in any of the photos. Just blue shorts and shades and a beaded necklace around his neck. So they didn't have a lot to remove. But why are we surprised when we hear about white people removing a deceased black person's clothing? Where do you think castration comes from? Where do you think white women got their first dildos from? Their first sex toys? Huh? Exactly. Crickets, right? Crickets. Why are we surprised? Let's cook.
his body was mistreated when they transported him.
So as they were transporting him, he was actually face down. So everyone knows when you're transporting the body, when, only a couple of people work that job, they all know you don't transport the body face down. It's kind of very disrespectful. So you always have them face up. Well, specifically his body for whatever reason was face down. And me personally, I took that as disrespect.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to the family.
Yes, definitely.
Because all we know is what they put out
On the internet.
But today, we
It's
actually
real.
found out a lot about this autopsy without even reading the autopsy.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
heartbreaking.
so sorry that family had to go through this. Really just.
I want to give our condolences
Yeah.
to the family. You know, as a mom or moms,
grandmothers,
dads, just family.
period.
You know, just we give the most prayers to you,
Yeah.
and we stand behind you
Mm-hmm.
because we know we know
Right.
what really happened.
Right. So,
And at the end of the day, whatever lies those families have covered up, or whatever lies they're trying to cover.
And they've definitely covered up some lies. The sheriff has fumbled in this investigation. He's let evidence be removed, tampered with, replaced, cleaned up. You know, there's lots of things. Those boats should have been searched. There should have been a forensic team all over those boats. I mean, you can't tell me I'm wrong when the family is out there 3 a.m. cleaning the boat at the judge's house. At the judge's house.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
And we're here for you. And we just want you to know that what was seen today
was unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And that's why we want to inform
So
what's
it's
going on during the transport. Like that.
something you can be quiet on.
At all.
When you see something so heartbreaking as a child, you know, go through something traumatic.
Yes.
It hurts to know that that was done to him in the ways that we can't even express.
Right.
And as a person, you should have some type of humanity.
Right.
And I felt like those people who was transporting him did not have humanity in no way, shape, or form. Because if I can feel the way I feel about the situation, just listening to what happened, you also can listen to what happened to this child.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that is a child that you did.
Well, when it's all said and done, this thing gonna look like the Epstein file should have looked. It's gonna look like January 6th look. It's gonna be a whole bunch of white people getting locked up. Getting locked up. I want y'all to shave their heads, put out their mug shots. We don't want to hear about how good they were to society. We don't want to hear about their children. We don't care about no mental health disorders. We don't care about none of that. Carmelo had seizures. Y'all didn't care. Nolan ain't never bothered nobody. He was on his way to a Division I college to play football. He had a very bright, star-studded future ahead of him. Y'all didn't care. Keep that energy. Keep that energy.
Right.
So this child needs justice.
Justice.
Because
Justice.
we're not going to sleep
At
until
all.
he gets it.
At all. And I heard the feds are in Mississippi right now. So justice for Nolan Rebels.
No matter what.
Our heart goes out to his mom,
His
his family, everybody.
And just know, families, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Same situation, guys. Carmelo Anthony was a child. These people do not see our children as children. This is traumatic. Again, I don't know if this is true, but what we do know, what we know.
All right, y'all. All right. We're going to cover one more thing here on Brother Nolan. And then we're going to get into the other brother, Daniel Irvin, who was unalived.
11 days have passed. And so far, no one can tell Nolan Wells' family what happened to their son. 4 young men got on boats and went out to an empty island. 3 came back. He didn't. 2 days later, his body was found in the water. But here is what makes this case unusual. He was 18 years old, got on a boat with 3 friends.
His body was not found in the water. His body was found on land in the northeast section of the island where they had searched that day and where everyone had been partying at the day before. See, this is misinformation. His body was not found in the water. His body was placed there.
They went out to Horn Island. Now that island is about 8 miles offshore. It's part of a national seashore. No staff, no drinking water, no shelter, and no cell service. The only way to get there is by boat, and the only way to leave is the same, 3 in the afternoon. That was the last time anyone saw Nolan. 4:30, the boat left the island. There were 3 people on it. On July 6th, a park ranger found his body in the water, just off the northwestern tip of the island. On July 7th, an autopsy was performed at the state lab.
It's funny because his fathers and the attorney said the northeast part of the island. It's funny. See, there's lots of misinformation out here.
And then, silence. Here's what we know for certain as of today. The cause and manner of death still hasn't been released. The state medical examiner is still waiting on the toxicology report. The family doesn't trust the investigation, so they commissioned an independent...
But wait, though. We never got Austin Metcalf's autopsy or toxicology report either. Because that was a very small wound. I'm just saying. That was a very small little scar right there. I mean, maybe it almost looked like Austin could have had a heart attack. Or maybe Austin had something in his system. There's accounts of these guys right here in the Nolan Wells case doing heavy drugs and substances. Okay? And I'm waiting to see if something was in Nolan's system, because Nolan was definitely telling them no, which means that they had to poison him or sedate him or something. I'm waiting. But why isn't this report back yet? Why isn't it back yet, ladies and gentlemen?
An autopsy. Nolan's body was flown out to Washington, D.C. Those results were supposed to come out last Friday, but flights were canceled and it was delayed again. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter has repeatedly stated one thing, that as of now, they have no information leading them to believe a crime occurred. The case is being investigated as a death, not a homicide. Authorities say they suspect Nolan may have drowned, and the county coroner said there were no obvious signs of trauma on the body.
No obvious signs of trauma on the body, said a medical examiner, but yet there's accounts of his face being burned. Hold on, wait a minute, back up, back up. As you come in, ladies and gentlemen, please hit the like button, please and thank you. Please and thank you.
That as of now, they have no information leading them to believe a crime occurred. The case is being investigated as a death, not a homicide. Authorities say they suspect Nolan may have drowned, and the county coroner said there were no obvious signs of trauma on the body.
He was burned. You just heard accounts of his face and his body being burned and bruised and tortured. And this medical examiner says that there's no counts of... Come on, man. See, this is why we can't trust these people. This is why I'm glad that the family did decide to do an independent autopsy. For once, I'm happy to see Ben Crump. For once. You know, so, man, I really hope they get to the bottom of this, man.
That is the truth, and it has to be said. But Nolan's family does not accept that answer.
Right, the medical examiners are lying too. But don't forget, one of the parents are doctors. One of the parents are physicians. So they have reach in the medical field. In order to pull this off with the medical examiner, you need a sheriff who will blow a dog whistle and says, I don't suspect any foul play. That's a dog whistle to the medical examiner. And now you have a parent of one of these boys who's a physician, who's also in the medical field, who has these same plugs and connections. One is a lawyer. You notice everyone deactivated their accounts. They're not talking. They lawyer it up. Where did they get that advice from? A lawyer. And he went to Warren's house, which is the judge's house, Ashley Cole or something like that, to clean the boat. Because no one's going to ride up on a judge's home. This really says something of how people are. Yes, yes. And this also proves how they were connected enough to railroad Carmelo Anthony. This is the white justice system that we've been complaining about for decades. For decades.
And when you hear all the questions in this video, you'll understand why. Before Nolan became a name in the national news, he was an ordinary young man. And there's one detail about his last night that, once you know it, is
You're right, Storm. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
hard to forget. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old. The following month, he would turn 19. He grew up in Ocean Springs, a small town on the Gulf Coast. He went to Ocean Springs High School. Then, he went on to Southwest Mississippi Community College. He played wide receiver on the football team. A new season was coming, so he was getting ready to go back. His high school coach actually, described him in one line. A happy-go-lucky kid with a big smile that everyone adored and loved. He added, if you got kids, you want your kids to be like Nolan. And his mother Christine wrote, my heart is broken for our sweet son. He was always willing to cheer and uplift others. And so here's the detail.
For some reason, they don't look at a black life the way a black life looks at a black life. They don't look at a young black life and see a child. They look at a young black life and see something different. It's like they only see life when they're looking at someone who resembles their complexion. And we know it hasn't always been this way in the history of America. We know about the Italians, we know about the Jews, we know about the Asians, we know about the Japanese, the Chinese. We know. We know. But the question is, when does it stop? If you can implement racism and write it into law, surely you can ban it. Surely you can abolish racism. Surely you can. What's good, Marshall? Surely you can, and you should.
Evening of July 3rd, one day before the trip, Nolan's mother came home late from work. She was exhausted. So Nolan went into the kitchen and he baked salmon for his parents. Afterward, he grabbed his bag and went to sleep over at a friend's house, so they could head out for the holiday in the morning. His mother remembers that moment in 6 words. It was hug, kiss, and he left. That was the last time she saw her son. Now hold that image in your head, because every question that follows revolves around that young man. This is the first question, and it's the one Nolan's father cannot accept. According to the account that was given, the boat had trouble. It started taking on water, so the group had to head back early. And they said Nolan chose to stay behind, to catch a ride home later with another group. Now the sheriff, based on the accounts of the people he spoke with, reached a similar conclusion, that it appeared Nolan had chosen to stay on the island, assuming someone...
This is how they're all getting on code. This is them all getting on code. We know this man ain't staying on no island. Ain't no young black teenager gonna separate himself from no cell phone or stay across a goddamn ocean on a damn island with all that water in front of him, home, his parents, or Xbox, or any other thing that he loves. It's not happening. I'm going home. Black people don't love the water as much as white people do. Black people do not love the water as much as white people do. So that's another lie. That's another lie. All to protect white thugs, white bullies. We saw this in the Carmelo Anthony case, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this. We saw this with Cyrus Carmack Belton. We've seen this. We know how this plays out. We're not just going to accept it anymore. We're not going to keep doing business with anyone. We're not going to keep lying down. We're not going to keep being afraid, and this is definitely not going to keep happening to our children and or us. I mean, even a racist Neanderthal should know at some point, we're going to call a spade a spade. There's going to be some action taken.
Else would bring him back. Now, on the surface, it sounds reasonable. A holiday, a crowded beach, but Nolan's father doesn't believe it. Now, he went on CBS Mornings, and the anchor asked him directly, did he believe his son was left behind on that island? His answer was short.
Storm, that fits their MO. I didn't think about that. The Storm Alicia Barnes says, I wouldn't be surprised if they state Nolan was sodomized. That's big. That's big. And they did just say a few minutes ago that his clothing was removed and he was only wearing swimming trunks. That's big right there. That's big right there. I didn't even think about that. Oh man, that's something terrible to think about. But yeah, that definitely fits. That fits. As we come in, ladies and gentlemen, please be genuine enough to hit that like button. Please be genuine enough to hit that like button, please, and thank you.
Yes, I don't believe he decided to stay on the island by himself. That's not his character. He explained further, Nolan always stays with the group. If you came with me, you come back with me. Then he said something I think a lot of parents will understand. If I was in that situation, I would have told them, you're going to get back on this boat with me. Because I want to answer to your parents if something happens to you. And there's another...
But they weren't planning on answering to the parents anyways, knowing what they did to Nolan. Knowing what happened to Nolan. Because they hid the cell phone. They didn't want to give back the keys. They didn't want to give back the car. No one reached out. They had Nolan's cell phone. Warren, the son of the judge, Ashley Cole's son, had the cell phone and never answered it. People were calling to check on Nolan. Never answered the phone. Sweet tea, what's good, beautiful? Never answered the phone.
Contradiction. According to the family's attorney, there are two versions of Nolan's final minutes. The friends said he told them he was staying behind.
Sweet tea, hit that like button for me, sweetheart, please. As we come in, especially if we're a moderator, let's make sure if your name is in blue, you're definitely hitting that like button for me. Please and thank you. Please and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please and thank you.
Trying to talk to a girl. But the girl said the opposite. She said Nolan told her he was heading back to the boat. The family's attorney put it plainly. One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not. So, question number one. Why did Nolan stay behind on that island alone?
Because he was no longer alive. Because he was no longer alive. He could have been alive on a boat ride back. They could have got, mid-trip and did what they needed to do. We don't know. We don't know. What's up, DA? They got our tribe troll, y'all. They got one of our tribe trolls. Make sure we don't block him. Make sure we don't time him out. DA's just doing what DA does. He's a good troll, but he's family over here. That's our troll. As you come in, please hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. DA, you owe me a like. What's up, DA? You came in, DA. You came in, hit the like button, DA. Can't be a hater all your life, DA. Goodness, DA. We glad to see the district attorney. DA, since you're a district attorney, why aren't you down there handling this Nolan Wells case? Why aren't you down there handling this Nolan Wells case? We need someone we could believe in, DA. DA, Mr. District Attorney, Mr. Defense Attorney, because those boys are going to need one. Why aren't you down there handling this case, sir?
Still no answer. If you were staying on an empty
That's my man. DA saying out of my jurisdiction, man. Hey, DA is winning as hell. He quit with it too, man. He quit with it, man. Salute the DA, man.
with no water, no shelter, no signal, what would you bring with you? The obvious answer is your phone. Nolan didn't have his. His phone wasn't on the island. It was on the mainland, inside the home of one of the friends who'd been on the boat with him. The family's attorney asked the question everyone was already thinking. What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? But the way the family found out.
Listen, I'm not finna stay on an island for a woman. I'm sure as hell not finna stay on an island away from my phone. I will leave that woman on that island, and me and my phone will be on land. Hey, I'll talk to you when you get your wet ass back. You understand what I'm saying? No, I'm definitely catching the first boat up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna little engine I could. We gonna little engine I could. Our way right on across these waters. Huh? I'm getting back to the mainland. Real talk. I'm not doing it. Not me. Not me. If she wanna stay, she can stay. You know what I'm saying? Phones before hoes. There you go. That sounded so brutal. But in that case, if she want to stay on that island, sweetheart, you can stay here all you want to. But as for me and my phone, we gone. Call me. as for as for me and my phone, we out of there. Call me. I'm not staying on no island. No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. But nah, that ain't happening, man. If I gotta make a choice right then, man. Hey, especially if it's an iPhone, nah, man, my iPhone going back to land. Sweetheart, if you wanna stay here on this island, you know what I'm saying? Call me when you get back to the mainlands. You know what I'm saying? If I don't hear from you by 8, I'll send a Coast Guard. That's how that would have worked out. That brother ain't leaving his phone. They know exactly what happened to Nolan Wells. They know because they were a part of it. There should have been a thorough investigation. Thorough investigation. But since it was only a black life, and since it had to be a white life that took the black life, that's not priority to them. That's not priority. That's not an essential. As long as it wasn't one of theirs. That's the message they're sending out.
Phone unsettled them even more. Nobody handed it over. Nolan's mother had to track it down herself with a location sharing app. She followed the signal, and she found it sitting inside the home of one of her son's friends. Then she sent someone to go get it, which means the
Listen, man, they had to track the man's phone. How is this man like a brother to you? Y'all gonna lie and say there was no trauma to the body. That's what the medical examiner said. But now there's accounts of the man being burnt, his face being burnt, his body being burnt. What the hell did the medical examiner see? How much did y'all pay him? Was the sun in his eyes? Who the hell did he look at? I mean, I'm not understanding this, y'all. There's lots of questions that need to be answered. And if it wasn't for everything that's going on black social media right now, we wouldn't be this far in this case. They comb social media. They look at the content. They hear, they know exactly what's being said. And that's why they feed us these garbage narratives. He was able to swim. Tell me how he drowned. Who was gonna swim behind a boat like you're actually gonna catch it? If they got you swimming this far behind this boat, obviously they're not going to stop that boat, even if you catch up with it. So now they're trying to say he had to turn around and he got tired and he drowned swimming back. None of this makes sense because none of this is what we do as black people. I've been black for 48 years, going on 49. I can legitimately say 48 and a half years. And I ain't never in my black life done some bullshit like that. If I'm out on the boat, and I can swim, but if I'm out on the boat, hell, the same way that boat got me here, that boat is taking me back. And if I can talk to you here on this island, shorty, I can talk to you when we get back on land. I can take you to the movies, or we can meet up in the backseat of a car or a bedroom. It really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But the objective is to get our ass off this island where there's no civilization and get back to the mainland where we know we safe and our loved ones know we are safe. And in any group, when you black, they tell you stick together. There's power in numbers. If one fight, we all fight. If one run, we all run. You know what I mean? Like, this is the black life, y'all. So y'all can't feed us this bullshit. Y'all can't tell us about being black when you ain't never been black and you don't want to be black when it's time to be black.
Family found the phone before the police did. But what they found inside is...
As we come in, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Storm, if you can you post my Cash App on the screen for me, Storm, please? I always forget to post the Cash App. And we are 420 friendly. We super chat friendly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We Cash App friendly. We gift friendly. We all that friendly over here, man. If y'all could pay them pastors to lie, y'all can help me out with a little change for telling the truth. Now I'm calling this thing like it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling this thing like it is, y'all.
But truly chilled her. Now, Nolan had Snapchat. He used it constantly. Every time he went out, he filmed videos, took photos. That's just what he did. So she opened the phone. She went into...
So he was like a content creator. And there was no content there. And you're at a boating party on the 4th of July, America's 250th birthday, so they lie and say, and there's no content there. And you just heard him say the parents opened his phone. Listen, man, I'm not a private investigator, but I got common sense. Not the 4.0 student. I had all honors classes. Let me rap with the wise for a minute. If Nolan's phone was set on facial recognition, thank you for posting the Cash App, Storm. Thank you. If Nolan's phone was placed on facial recognition to unlock his phone, how did the parents get his phone back from Warren and just open his phone without facial recognition, ladies and gentlemen? That means that before they unalived him, they had to use his facial recognition to unlock that phone, go in and change the setting so that they could get into that phone anytime after he was unalived. Or that means that they took his body after they unalived him and kept using his body for facial recognition to get in and out of his phone when they saw fit. The whole time the phone was being tracked and pinged, ladies and gentlemen. One of the friends of the mother, of Nolan's mother, drove up to the house. Come on. You didn't even have the common sense to turn the damn phone off and y'all call us low IQ? No wonder y'all don't cook with seasoning. Y'all just got to focus on cooking. Y'all can't cook and season at the same time, I guess.
Snapchat. Empty. Not a single photo. Not a single video. Nothing from that entire day. His mother told reporters she believes the content was deleted. She said that was concerning because it would be unusual for her son not to capture a day like that.
Listen, family, what did Nolan see? What did Nolan know? What did Nolan record in his phone? What didn't these guys, who were sons of judges, doctors, and lawyers, very prestigious elite people in the community, pillars of the community. What did these three white thugs not want their very prestigious parents to know that they were doing? What did Nolan capture on that phone? I told y'all in the previous live stream, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to separate Nolan from his phone because Nolan still had eyes to witness. He still got a mouth to talk and reiterate the accounts of what he saw, even if he don't have his phone there for physical proof. Why would they believe him? Because he was there. He traveled with them. These were his friends. He were on the in crowd. Who would know besides Nolan? So not only did they have to take the phone, but they had to take Nolan out as well. They had to take Nolan out as well. Y'all saw this in the Rick Chow case with 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton. He wasn't here to speak for himself. They had to listen to the perpetrators, the aggressors, the thugs, the unalivers. They had to listen to Andy Chow and Rick Chow give their accounts. No one was here to speak up for Cyrus. And look, he walks and gets acquitted. We saw this with the case of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. But again, let me draw your attention to Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. What did we see? The same type of connection, the same type of plugs. That's what we saw. So they'll tell you it's not about race, but it is about race. Because if it was one of their own, they'd be demanding answers. It wouldn't be 11 days later with no arrest. It wouldn't be a sheriff saying we don't suspect foul play. We know better than this. There's been too many racial riots and voting massacres and everything else in this country for these people to accept a black man taking a white man's life. In their mind, it's supposed to be them doing it to us. And those days are long gone, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think Shea Whitey has gotten that memo. This is the fuck around and find out era. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Eye for an eye. We're no longer turning the other cheek. Y'all know how I roll over here. I'm not on that Jesus colonial, turn the other cheek, 325 AD, first council of Nicaea BS, man. That Constantine BS, man. Y'all know we educated over here. We do the research. We get the work done. Y'all know we stand on that. So we not turning the other cheek, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't SWV. We need a little bit more than understanding. We need some justice. We need a little bit more than understanding. We need some justice. That's what we need. And we need this to stop. If you can implement racism in this country and benefit from it economically, culturally, systemically, then you can definitely ban it. You can definitely abolish racism. But why? When you make so much money? Why? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all might be asking yourselves, why are they interested in taking so many black lives? So many black people are found being hung right now, and they call it self-afflicted. No black person is going to do that to themselves. Why are we finding brothers rolled up in gym mats in Atlanta, Georgia, Kendrick Johnson, and there's nothing? Why were the twins, Georgia, Stone Mountain, unalived when they weren't supposed to be there? We don't climb mountains, but they do. And there's no answers. Truck drivers disappearing out of Sunset. Come on, man. Y'all not seeing what's going on. This is a international purge. They got the memo. We were never supposed to get it. They got the memo. We were never supposed to get it. They're purging. They're purging. If y'all got black children, stop letting y'all black children run around here with other people's children, and you don't know the children, and you sure as hell don't know the parents. And that goes for black and or white. Black and or white. We got to love our babies first and trust everybody else last. I'm going to say it again. We have to love our babies first and trust everyone else last. And if you love your babies enough, you'll be old school and traditional like how my mama was. You ain't leaving this house until she know exactly where you're going, who it is, who they look like, who they related to, where you're going, what time you're going to be back, how you getting there, all this. All this. Oh, it's going to be some dinners. It's going to be some luncheons. We going to get to know somebody before I trust my child to go out here with y'all. She gonna have your tag number and everything. We ain't playing that, man. We got to go back to that. We have to go back to that. If we love our children, act like it. If we're put here to protect our children, and damn it, protect them. And knowing what your children are doing, knowing who they are hanging with, knowing where they are, is a big part in protecting someone. Oh, those are his friends. They'll never do anything like that. Like hell, they wouldn't. What do you think a crime of passion is? Now, I know y'all stuck on the Cat Williams era. I know y'all love y'all some Cat Williams. I know y'all heard Cat Williams. Get y'all some white friends. Just get y'all some white friends. They'll be madder than you. He'll never do that. Killed who? Yeah. But yeah, you get the wrong white friends. And then look where you are. You're Nolan. When you despise the skin you're in, and you want other people to validate who you are, you think your status is elevated because you are hanging with a group of people who consider themselves to be superior and better than everyone else. You are opening yourselves up to the demonic evils and the lineage of evil that comes with these people. And history tells us they have over 40-something million black Americans in this country right now believing that somehow we're from Africa, believing that we're African Americans, when history tells us by the 5 civilized tribes that was here before Columbus that we were already here. The reason they're not paying reparations is because you're trying to get reparations identifying as an African American. They owe you reparations for your land right here. You were Indian. They erased you. Paper genocide, reclassification, Walter Plecker, 1924, the Dawes-Rose Act. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's act like we know this stuff. We know why white people try to look flawless. We know why white people try to look like they're just the most angelic people in the world. We know why. That is the United Daughters of the Confederacy. They didn't want their Confederate fathers who got their ass whooped to be recognized as losers, to be recognized as people who treated their slaves wrong and everything else. So it started out with like 10 daughters. It bumped up to like 30 daughters. Then it bumped up to 300 and something daughters. Then it bumped up to thousands of them lying colonizers. All rewriting America's history books to make the South and to make the Confederacy look good, even when they got their ass whooped in the Civil War. Man, y'all better help me. I told y'all I'm a whole historian around here, man. This brain works like a filing cabinet. Like a filing cabinet. DA. DA, you trolling, but it's okay, y'all. It's okay, DA. Y'all, be easy on DA. That's our family troll. He's just doing his job. DA, one day you got to send a super chat too. We be tolerating your crazy ass. You gonna send a super chat or a cash app or something, DA. Or we gonna time you out sometimes. DA. You should have your buddy Mississippi handling this case for us, DA.
Now here, I have to be fair. An empty phone doesn't prove anything by itself. There could be a technical explanation. Police have not confirmed the data was deliberately deleted. But what would you
I
think?
just got a question. Why are they so quick to say it's not about race? When one black man goes out amongst all 4 white guys, and it's the black man, it's the raisin in a potato salad that doesn't come back. And it's not about race. That was definitely about race. And the fact that it happened to Daniel Irvin the same day, right before Nolan Wells, on America's 250th birthday. That was definitely about race. I would not be surprised if they was castrated and sodomized. I wouldn't be castrated. I'm castrated. I would be surprised. Hey, pause, y'all, scratch that. But hell no, I wouldn't want to be castrated though. I wouldn't want to be castrated. No, no. You can make a mole. You can make a mole, but you can't have them. You can't have them. You can make a mole, put it in all your stores, but you can't have them.
If you were the mother. Your son is dead. You had to go find his phone yourself. And when you opened it, everything inside had been wiped clean. So question 2, why was Nolan's phone inside a friend's house on the mainland? And why was Snapchat empty? Still no answer. This is the part where I have to be extremely careful because there's been a new development, and that development could flip everything. On social media, video began to spread. In it, you can hear a male voice shouting. According to the family's attorney, the voice says, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?" Now, Crump's legal team believes that voice.
Now, I'm going to say, as many times as I played that clip, even right here, I didn't hear that. It makes sense since they're saying all of this about his phone, but that's not what I heard. What I thought I heard was, "You're not getting on the effing boat. Get off the effing boat." They're saying that he said, "Give me my freaking phone. That's my freaking phone." I didn't hear phone. I heard boat. So there's proof that he didn't have his phone, and there's proof that he wasn't on that boat. So either one could be correct. Either one could be correct. But from what I heard you're not getting on a freaking boat. They're saying that he said, "Give me my freaking phone." Either way it goes, that young man saw something or he was exposed to something that these people did not want to leave this island. It's kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happened on Horn Island was supposed to stay in Horn Island. Either that or the whole time it was meant for Nolan to be a sacrifice. The same way it seems like it was meant for Daniel Irvin to be a sacrifice on July 4th of this year. And have you ever noticed when it's a black life, they're slow to arrest people? But when it's a black life, even taking a white life in self-defense, they move with expedience, y'all. They move expeditiously. There's a major conundrum if they don't lock a black man up the same damn day that's been accused of taking a white life. And the only reason this sister down here in North Broward County over this Walmart parking space, the only reason she's still free is because she exercised every single technique they show you in weapons training class on videos. She walked away, she de-escalated, she did all of that. She told him 2-3 different times in 2-3 different ways, "Leave me alone, walk away," everything. That is self-defense. That is self-defense 101. And they're not happy about that. These people are getting even. They are purging. I believe one was for the blood of Bart, and I believe allegedly one of these sacrifices was for the blood of Austin. That's just my alleges. I don't put nothing past the enemy. I never underestimate my opponent. Never. Never.
Belongs to Nolan. And if that's true, it would be a critical clue. Because remember, his phone was later found inside a friend's house. But then something unexpected happened. A friend of Nolan's named Tracy Shepard went on Good Morning America. And he said something that stunned everyone. He said, the shouting voice in that video is not Nolan. It's him. That's the video I am referring to.
He was trying to curb the investigation. He was trying to throw a wrench in the plans, y'all. That was not him. And I don't know how much they paid him to come out and say that, but you're going to wait more than a week later after this video has surfaced to come out and say that was me. Now, none of these other white boys have come out and admitted a damn thing, said anything. They want to give back the phone. They want to give back the car keys. They want to give back the car. They were out eating while everybody else was searching for Nolan. So we're supposed to believe that you're genuine. This is a random act of kindness, you vampire. And you're just coming out saying, oh, that was me. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because we saw the whole crowd looking that direction. That was not you. Why didn't you offer more information? Why did we see the other young man nose bleeding and broken? Why did he get on the boat and get pulled off the boat and put on another boat? And it's one of the guys that Nolan was with. Where's all your accounts for this? Since it was you, you should be able to give us a great, descriptive, detailed account. Now, we saw Nolan's best friend in that video a couple times, Javon, or whatever his name is. We saw him. But for you to come out and say that was you, nah. You're trying to curb the investigation because someone's getting close. And you're trying to protect someone, if not take the rap for someone.
And that's me yelling. Mississippi Today reviewed the video. They described it as being shot from a boat, panning across other boats parked nearby, and a sandbar where people were standing. So, who is right? The family's legal team believe it's Nolan's voice. The friend says it's his own.
The parents would know their child's voice. That's why this was an idiotic move. And again, I'm going to go back to the IQ. They're quick. We got to stop steaming so much broccoli, y'all. Anyways, they're quick. Whew. They're quick to say that we have a low IQ, right? These parents don't recognize their own son's voice. These parents wouldn't recognize their own child's voice. You have a very low minimum Arctic room temperature to believe that these parents are going to think that that was you when they know their child. They know what he sounds like, yelling, excited, upset. He plays football. They know their son's voice. And they're supposed to come out and believe that that was you. Y'all put out a photo and say that 1 a.m. that morning, Nolan was at a pool party. And that's where everything went down. Common sense would tell us that that's an old picture, and then no one's asking questions about that grown-ass white man that's in that damn picture with all those kids in a pool party. No one's asking questions about that guy. Sitting up there, all them goddamn chest hairs looking like a Geico caveman commercial. And no one's asking questions about why that white grown-ass guy is in the midst of all those children, especially those little girls. I believe that was an older picture. That, again, was meant to curb the investigation. That, again, was meant to curb the investigation.
Police have not confirmed anything. This is exactly why I can't tell you that I know what happened, because I don't. And neither does anyone else yet. But there's one thing
I know what happened. I know what happened. Hell, you can sue me. What, you gonna get dirty socks and drawers? You know what I'm saying? You can sue me. I know what happened. Some white guys took out a black guy. I'm gonna say that much. Some white guys took out a black guy. I know that much. I know that much. I know what happened. Now, I may not know who, but I know they wasn't black. And I saw all that vanilla pudding out there. You know what I mean? On Horn Island. So yeah. I know chances are, and white people are 69% of all crimes reported in this country. 69%. I don't want to hear per capita. 69%. Let me give it to you again. 69% of all reported crimes in this country are white people. White people make up a mass population of jail and prisons, not black people. We just get the longer sentences. That's what leads to mass incarceration of black people. we are exonerated at 50%. So that's where you get your 1350 from. 13% of the population, the YT supremacist wants to tell you that we're 50% of the crimes, the violent crimes, we're not. You can't get 50% out of 13%. But we are 50% exonerated out of all falsely accused crimes and convictions in this country. Now you can look that up. See, I'm not here to lie to y'all. That's why YouTube is always shadow banning me. That's how I go from 22,000 people in a live stream down to just a couple hundreds if I'm lucky. Because they can't stop me from telling the truth. They think I'm spreading racism, division, and hate, and who does that better than, you know, the biggest immigrant on American soil, the European themselves. The European themselves. You're busy deporting everyone else, and I haven't heard you mention not one time about deporting yourselves. Oh, y'all got out of here when I said that. Look at accountability. Look at white guilt. Oh, y'all got up out of here when I said that. Look at that. Look at accountability. Look at guilt. I told y'all, it's a system, man. Black and white did not come into existence until year 1618. 1618 is when they saw fit, and it was really weaponized in the 1800s. But this is when they saw fit to come up with colorization, black and or white. This is the times that they were using the Irish for indentured servants. These are the times where they were hating the Italians and calling them dirty and telling people not to hire them, and they were trash and they were broke. Oh yeah, look it up. This is the Dutch, the German, the English, you know what I'm saying, the Portuguese, Spaniards. Oh yeah. Oh, we talk about all of Europe, baby. We talk about all of Europe, baby. Y'all know how y'all fled when the Black Death, the Black Plague, the bubonic plague hit Europe. Y'all know. Killed over 60 million of y'all. Y'all know. I told him a whole historian, 4.0 student, all honors classes. I ain't got no need to lie. Why retain information like a hard drive? A hard drive. In the third grade, I learned there's 5,280 feet in a mile. And I still remember that. And I'm nerdy enough to count every step in between mile markers. And you know what? It's pretty damn accurate. You talking to that guy. That's why I'm shadow banned. That's why I don't make the money I used to make. But you know what? I'll get it back. I'll pop, because you can't stop the truth. You can't stop the truth. As long as racism exists, I always have content. I always have content. I'm going to continue to pick up a mirror and show white America their reflection. And it's not all white people. Well, I lied. It is all white people. It's just not the white folks. Y'all know over here we rock with the good white folks. We love the good white folks. But them white people, it's just like them black people. You know what I'm saying? We don't do black people, we don't do white people, we don't do Asian people, we don't do none of them people. We don't like people, but we like good folks. You know what I'm saying? We like white folks, we like black folks, we like Asian folks. Because folks ain't going to keep you caught up in drama and bullshit. They going to call it like it is. It's content and character based. But people, the same thing that's going on with Nolan Wells, the same thing that happened with Carmelo Anthony, down to Trayvon Martin, down to Michael Brown Jr., well, that's what happens when you're dealing with people. That's what happens when you're dealing with people. So you got bad black people, you got bad white people. I deal with good white folks, I deal with good black folks, and there ain't no in between for me. There is no in between. So no, I am not racist. My grandma was murdered by a racist, called the N-word and popped in the back and died. I tell this story all the time on my channel. If I wanted to be racist, I could. But black people, we aren't racist. We're prejudiced. We can hate someone because of the way you treat us. We can hate someone because of the way you lie on us. But we're not racist. We love everyone. We're not racist. We can be prejudiced, but we can't be racist. We've never had a sundown town. We've never had Jim Crow. We never had Reconstruction. We never had redlining. We never had chattel slavery. We never had mass incarceration. We never had the war on drugs. We never changed congressional voting maps to give us the advantage. We've never taken anyone's land. We've never left our country, which is right here, and went to anyone's country and ever conquered anybody. We've never sodomized any children. We don't lead in that statistic either, but I know who does. I know who does. And you can look up the stat. 2977. 29% of the white community is made up of men. And 77% of those men are all convicted of what? Child charges. And you know what I mean. Snap your camera. Snap your camera. Child, look it up. 60 and 70% of all S crimes in this country. Even in Europe. Even against animals. S crimes against animals, they lead the way in that as well. Look it up. 2019 FBI crime data sheet. Look it up. It's there. Look up the United States Sentencing Commission. I don't just get on here and talk. I'm giving you the receipts. Y'all are going to be like, where's your proof? I'm telling you where to go and what to look up. I'm telling you. I'm not looking at anything in front of me right now. I'm doing this off the top of my head because I've been a content creator for 6 years. For 6 years. You don't know how many of these stories I've covered. You don't know how many books I've read. You don't know how many charts, how many graphs, how much statistics I've had to get familiar with and refamiliar with as they change in time so I can be accurate when I bring this information to my people. So I do the work. I am who I am. Look it up. You'll understand I'm not lying to you. A lot of people started laughing when I told them, well, we're the original Indians. Ha, ha, ha. Even black people. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, well, look up the 5 civilized tribes. Look up the Choctaws. Look up the Chickasaws. Look up the Muskogee Creek. Look up the Black Seminoles. Look up the Black Cherokees. They were here and outdated pre-colonial times. They were already here. That was us. That led to the Trail of Tears. We were reclassified from Indians to copper colored, to black, to Negro, to African American. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. Walter Plecker ran the U.S. Census from 1924 until, well, I forget what time. But he was taking bribes, which led to the $5 Indian Act, the Dawes Rolls Act, the Indian Removal Act, the Trail of Tears, the Homestead Act. I'm giving you all this information. That's a starting point to the truth. Not only do y'all have, listen, these people got y'all believing in the same God they believed in to do what they needed to do to you. You can't name not one of the 10 commandments. These bastards ain't never broke to maintain control, supremacy, entitlement, or anything. To maintain the advantage. Name one. But they got y'all around here honoring those 10 commandments, right? They got y'all waiting till y'all die for y'all heaven on earth. Why they live in heaven on earth right here off of the sweat off of your back? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? You're going to believe in the same God. And you're going to believe in the same people. And you think these people aren't capable of lying to you? Even telling you that you are African American when less than 4% of those slave ships that left the coast of Africa by the 3rd century, less than 4% touched North America. Haiti, Jamaica, the Caribbeans, and Brazil. Brazil got the bulk of those slaves. Congolese, Kenyan, they're there. There's a town called Little Africa in Brazil right now. I tell y'all all the time about the whitening of Brazil, known as Bloqueamento. Look it up. It's there. The information is there. At one point, the population of Brazil was 59% black. Do you know what they did after that? After they outlawed and banned importing slaves and they started breeding slaves, just like America started breeding slaves, do you know what they did after that? They started importing more white people, French, Dutch, all of this for population control, colorization, black and white. It's no longer about where you're from. It's about your skin complexion. And that's how they thrive to this day. But when you ask them to identify, they're going to tell you white or American. They're not going to tell you Dutch, German, Russian, Scandinavian. They're not going to tell you Irish or Italian. You know why? Because they're telling you right then that they're immigrants. They're not native to this land. And they're telling you just exactly who the land this is, y'all. They're telling you what they did. They're telling you whose land it is if they ever admit that. Y'all have saw me put them on the spot right here, and dared them to identify while they're busy telling us we're from Africa. And they won't do exactly 100. See, y'all done been here. Thank you, ambitions of a writer. You know ambitions. You know. I put them on Front Street right here and dared them, and they won't. It's a code of supremacy. They hide behind white, but ask them what their lineage is. Ask them where their great grandmother was born at, and you'll find out they're European. You'll find out it's somewhere out in the European Union, not America. Who was here when they got here? We were. Even Columbus said what? Columbus said woolly hair, copper colored, dark skinned people holding gold tipped spears. We're already here, already had settlements, already doing business, already building. And we know about the Black Moors as well. They were North African, they were West African. We know about the Moors as well. So it's not far-fetched to believe that there were already Africans here. They were building ships and selling before anyone. Way before England. Way before England. Thousands of years before England. So it's not far-fetched to believe that, some Africans might have landed here and, interacted with some of the indigenous tribes that were here. And some people may have an African descent. But the only African American I ever known was Elon Musk. That is the best example of an African American I can give you. A black person is not a damn African American. Not if you're in America. Not if you're in America. The Arawaks, the Potomac Indians. Frederick Douglass was a Potomac Indian. Jesse Jackson, the very anus hole who labeled us African Americans in 1988, 1989, was a full-blood Cherokee Indian. He was cosplaying. I told y'all what happened in 1820. I told y'all about the American Colonization Society. I told y'all about the $300 they paid for territory in Africa that's now called Liberia. That's recognized as the first black settlement. In Africa, Liberia, look up the flag in Liberia and then look at the American flag. President James Monroe, and his name is actually in the capital of Liberia right now. They shipped 88 freedmen from here on a ship called Elizabeth in 1820 because they didn't want those 88 freedmen to tempt the slaves that they were still breeding here into rebelling for freedom. Truth is, Abraham Lincoln didn't free us. You've got to know what the Gullah Wars are. You got to know what Seminole means. You got to know what Seminole means. Look up the true definition of Seminole, study the Gullah Wars, and you'll realize that we freed ourselves. You had slaves who were getting free and running towards those black Seminole tribes. The Seminole tribes left messages and all kind of like, how can I put this? Clues on how to find them in the woods, on the trees and everything. And as these slaves escaped during the Civil War, these slaves actually found the Cherokee and the Seminole Indians. The Seminoles took them in. They all began to group up against the white colonizers because the white colonizers was after the slaves and the Indians taking land. Let's not forget about Virginia, where it all started. We not gonna forget about that. All right. We know about the 13 original colonies. We know that Virginia played a big role. We know the Carolinas played a big role. We know our history around here. I teach y'all this a lot. I've shown you. So when they grouped up with the Geechees and the Gullahs, they became one big black tribe. They were marrying in, they were fighting in, they were doing everything. And they say nobody fought harder than those damn slaves. Y'all, they kicked the military ass, y'all. Don't believe me? Look up the Gullah Wars. Gullah. Look up the Gullah Wars. They had to finally make a deal with the Indians and say, you know what? If y'all just go out here to Oklahoma and leave Florida and leave the South, we'll leave y'all alone and we'll give y'all citizenship. We'll give you reservations. We'll give you, you know what I'm saying? We'll give you whatever you want. And that's what they did until those people were later put back into slavery and replaced with Siberian Asians that they call Native Americans that y'all recognize as Indians right now. I'm trying to tell you something. An Asian ain't nothing but a Caucasian, and a Caucasian ain't nothing but an Asian. You can't spell Caucasian without Asian. They're neighbors geographically, y'all. But y'all see, I come on here and give y'all all that good knowledge, and I leave here broke. Them pastors show up, lie to you on Sunday, and they leaving there with big bank and wearing red bottoms at their wedding. You know what I'm saying? But my day will come.
I need to make clear, even if that video isn't Nolan.
Matter
Another
of fact, man, let me show y'all what I'm talking. I hate to mention stuff and not show you and give receipts. You know what I mean? So let's visit the Gullah Wars real quick. Can I tell y'all all the time, the lies should have quit when the internet hit. I be on this, y'all. I live alone. I'm an empty nester. It's me, my pickup truck, and my 2 guinea pigs. Sound like a black country song, don't it? Don't it sound like a black country song? But that's all I got. I don't watch cartoons. I don't watch news. I don't feed my mind BS, man. I'm on another level over here. It's all about spiritual elevation, mental elevation, intellectual elevation. Let me show you something. See, this is the stuff they don't teach you in school because of what I just told y'all. The United Daughters of the Confederacy Act. McGraw-Hill is the last name you see on all the binders of all your textbooks and history books in school. McGraw-Hill was part of the Confederacy. Those were his daughters. Y'all not getting this, man. They set up a perfect system for them.
Refusing to...
Hold on. Let's get this. Let's cook. This is what I do. Let's cook.
When you've got a one-track mind, you go where the cravings take you. Because once you...
We conscious over here. I told y'all that, man.
Did you know there was a massive slave rebellion in the United States that most history books never talk about? Have you ever heard of the Gullah Wars, a decades-long fight for freedom led by enslaved Africans and their descendants in the Low Country in Florida? From the late 1700s to the mid-1800s, the Gullah people and their allies, later called the Black Seminoles, waged a war of resistance that became the largest and most successful slave uprising in American history. Through courage, solidarity, and relentless defiance, they built sanctuaries.
Wait, but I thought Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War freed the slaves. Truth is, them slaves were rebelling and kicking so many of them plantation owners' butts that they had to free the slaves. Slave owners and the plantation, they were scared. They were afraid they were going to go to sleep that night and it was going to be them. They were afraid. They had to bring in the military, and the military couldn't handle them. I think they lost less than 20 people. The military lost way more people. The military lost way more people, ladies and gentlemen, way more.
Fought U.S. forces and left behind a legacy of unfinished rebellion. This is their story, a hidden chapter of America that demands to be told. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, consider subscribing to the channel. We'd be grateful for your support. Let's dive into it. Enslaved Africans in the Low Country of South Carolina and Georgia, the people who would come to be known as the Gullah, forged a
The South, y'all, the South, and they eventually fled to Florida. The South, y'all.
Culture of resilience under bondage. On isolated coastal plantations, they were the majority, speaking a Creole language, Gullah, and keeping alive many West African traditions. Because plantation owners often left them to work under a task system, Gullah communities carved out space to shape their own lives. They grew rice and indigo, told African folktales, and built a communal culture that nurtured dreams of freedom.
And y'all, think about it. Indian is taken from indigo, which is like a blue-black. It's a very dark color. Indian is taken from the root word indigo. Indigo is like a blue-black. It's a dark, melanated color, ladies and gentlemen. They're leaving you clues, but they don't want you to put the clues together and recognize who you are.
White planters lived in constant fear, knowing they were outnumbered and that these bondspeople longed to break their chains. That longing found a ray of hope to the south. Spanish Florida, sitting just beyond the British colonies, became a frontier of freedom. As early as 1693, Spain's king issued a decree promising asylum to any enslaved person escaping into Florida, on the condition they embrace Catholicism and serve in defense of the colony. By 1738, the Spanish had established Gracia Real de Santa Teresa de Mos, known as Fort Mose, the first legally sanctioned free black town in what is now the United States. There, a militia of formerly enslaved Africans under black leadership stood guard against any English incursions, embodying black autonomy on American soil. Word of this promise of liberty traveled swiftly among the enslaved. In 1739, a group of enslaved Africans in South Carolina rose up in what became known as the Stono Rebellion, killing slave owners.
Look it up. There you go. Stono Rebellion. They always want receipts. Stono Rebellion. Look up the Stono Rebellion. They want you to believe it was the Civil War. It was Abraham Lincoln. It was the Stono Rebellion. Stono. The Stono Rebellion, ladies and gentlemen. They want you to think it was Abraham Lincoln, when Abraham Lincoln admitted that he never intended to free the Negroes. He wrote it in the document. He wrote it. He just wanted the North and the South to stop fighting. He wanted them to come together and basically agree on white supremacy. and make it a great white nation. It wasn't the Civil War. It wasn't Abraham Lincoln. That is white indoctrination. That is a white lie. That is their history, not our history. And if you look up the Gullah Wars on your phones, on your smart TVs, on your tablets, anywhere, you'll see that they were black. You will see and know that they were black. You got all these black people slaughtering all of these white people, and you wonder why they was pissed when Carmelo Anthony had to lay Austin down? Man, y'all better learn y'all history. Y'all better learn why they really fear us. Y'all better learn why they really hate us, man. Huh? Y'all better learn why they really get pissed at the sight of us, man. They tired of tasting defeat. They make up these lies to make themselves look good, but they know the truth. They know the truth. They don't want us to know the truth. They don't want you to know just how powerful you damn it are. They don't want us to ever recognize just how strong we are together than apart. And they definitely don't want you to know that you're not African. Oh, God forbid you find out you're actually the indigenous Indians. Oh, now you can prove that they took something from you. Over 90 million acres of land. We're not talking other resources. We're talking land. What about lives? What about suffrage? What about those resources? Yeah. Now, how much did they make off of that? Trillions. That's why they say America is the richest country. Trillions, straight off of a slave's back. Huh? We weren't African slaves. We are not African. We are them. We are the indigenous. I have proved it time after time after time. And they know. They know. I have proved it. I've showed the receipts. I've done the work. That's why I get on here and get pissed, because my numbers ain't right. That's why I get on here and get pissed, because I ain't making no money. Hell, at least I'm not lying to you. These pastors lying to you. These pastors giving you a false hope. I'm giving you an organic hope, an authentic hope. I'm giving you something real. I'm giving you empowerment on top of encouragement. I'm telling you you're not cursed. I'm telling you you are the damn blessing. You are the chosen one. Huh? I'm telling you you are a damn God. I ain't telling you to wait on they God. I'm telling you you are a damn God. Save yourself. Save yourself.
And marching with drums and a flag toward Spanish Florida and freedom. The Spanish offer of refuge had directly inspired this bold uprising. Although the rebellion was brutally suppressed before the freedom seekers could reach Florida, it sent shockwaves through the slave-holding South. The vision of a sanctuary in Florida
I told y'all those slave owners were mad. I told y'all those slave owners were mad. Yeah, those DNA tests, that's part of okie doke. See, let me tell you something. They quick to say, well, take a DNA test. A DNA test is only going to give you what's programmed. A DNA test can't identify your great-great-grandmother being labeled an Indian in the 1700s and being reclassified as an Indian in the 1800s. They're only going to say black. That's what they're going to do. It doesn't cover paper genocide. It doesn't cover what took place with Walter Plecker under the Dawes Rolls Act. See, they ain't messing with an idiot over here. They know who to debate and who not to debate. They like to think we're low IQ, but they wouldn't have a damn thing if it wasn't for us. A damn thing. Not even a damn toilet. And we know they didn't have those in Europe. That's what helped the Black Plague come along.
by black militia ignited both hope among the enslaved and fear among enslavers. Throughout the 1700s, dozens and then hundreds of Gullah people made the perilous journey southward, escaping down the Underground Railroad into the swamps and forests of Spanish.
Oh, but we were told they escaped in the Underground Railroad to head to the north towards freedom. Ain't that what that's what I was told. They got me about to sting some broccoli. Because I was told from middle school on up, Harriet Tubman, the Underground Railroad, and everybody fled to the north. And the north defeated the south. The south were the Confederates. Ah, but this just says something distinctively different, ladies and gentlemen. This says something significantly different, ladies and gentlemen. Different. Let's go.
Hundreds of Gullah people made the perilous journey southward, escaping down the Underground Railroad into the swamps.
Southward, down into the Underground Railroads. Okay, the lie should have quit when the internet hit. I told y'all I am who I am. Maybe I'm single for a reason. Maybe I'm not meant to have a woman in my life. This is a dangerous job. I face racism every day. Them goons ride up on me every day. They say something to me out in public every day. Every day. And I stand on it. I'm not around here wearing a mask. I stand on it. We can talk, we can get stupid. And if we can't talk, that's stupid by itself. But I ain't backing down. Knowledge is knowledge. Knowledge is knowledge. And the truth hurts. Everybody ain't gonna like the truth. And that's all right with me because I don't like they lies.
And forests of Spanish Florida. There, they joined with another group of freedom seekers, the Seminoles, a loose confederation of Native Americans, mostly of Creek origin, who had also taken refuge in Florida's wild interior. The Spaniards in Florida welcomed these self-liberated blacks and renegade Indians as
Blacks. Everything they've told us were lies. Today they are still lying and trying to hide any history we did. Exactly, but they didn't think it through. The lie should have quit when the internet hit. You could burn all the books and documents and doctrines you want to. But this internet is a cloud full of information. This internet is going to tell the truth about everything. They want to use the internet to hack. I use the internet to get knowledge.
as allies. In the lush Florida wilderness, far from the rice fields they fled, the Gullah found new ground to build communities. They established independent villages of thatched roof houses, planting corn and swamp rice and living on their own terms. Side by side with the Seminoles, they traded skills and cultures, with the Gullah adopting Seminole dress and learning the new land, and the Seminoles acquiring a taste for rice and an appreciation of Gullah music and folklore. Over time, they became one people in spirit, a blended Afro-Indigenous community bound by the shared...
A blended Afro-Indigenous community. A blended Afro-Indigenous community. Boy, I rest my case up in here, boy. The defense rests. The defense rests, Your Honor. The defense rests, Your Honor.
Goal of freedom. These black allies came to be known as Seminole Negro or Black Seminoles. Among the Seminole, black men rose to positions of leadership and respect. The two groups lived independently in remote Florida, raising children born free on American soil. They knew that slave catchers and colonial militias might one day come for them. Indeed, American slaveholders seethed at the existence of maroon settlements just beyond their reach, a direct challenge to white authority. The mere fact of free black villages in Florida, a situation white enslavers found intolerable, was an intolerable beacon of hope to the enslaved and a provocation to the slave system. Tensions simmered as these Maroons and Seminoles prepared to defend what they called freedom, while U.S. plantation interests plotted to snuff out this sanctuary. By the dawn of the 19th century, the stage was set for a clash on Florida's frontier, pitting the enslavers' regime against the indomitable will of the Gullah freedom fighters and their Seminole brethren. American slaveholders soon set their sights on Spanish Florida's haven. During the War of 1812, U.S.-backed forces known as the so-called Patriot...
And didn't they call that like the Spanish-American War? Yeah, I think they call that the Spanish-American War, the War of 1812. Wasn't that the Spanish-American War? 1812 rings a bell. I think they also called that Spanish-American War in the history books. But here's what it really was, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they called it to protect the Confederates, but here's what it really was, y'all. Here's where it really was. Let me back it up a little bit. Here's what it really was.
Beacon of hope to the enslaved and a provocation to the slave system. Tensions simmered as these Maroons and Seminoles prepared to defend what they called freedom, while U.S. plantation interests plotted to snuff out this sanctuary. By the dawn of the 19th century, the stage was set for a clash on Florida's frontier, pitting the enslavers' regime against the indomitable will of the Gullah freedom fighters and their Seminole brethren. American slaveholders soon set their sights on Spanish Florida's haven. During the War of 1812, U.S.-backed forces known as the so-called Patriot Army of Georgia slave catchers invaded Florida to capture territory and re-enslave its black inhabitants. They met fierce resistance. In 1812, a united force of Seminole warriors and black fighters beat back the Patriot militia, foreshadowing the clashes to come. This early victory emboldened the Maroons, but the young United States was determined to extinguish what one general called the fortresses in Florida. In 1814 and 1815, as the British fought the U.S., the English recruited hundreds,
right? Y'all heard that. I just want to show y'all, these people were black. They used the swamps to ambush the U.S. military and everything, and then run off and disappear in the same swamps and hit plantation owners later on the same day. They were in and out of the swamp. They used their intelligence and the land for their advantage. They were black. They were black. I'm showing you. They were black. I don't want to hear nothing. They were black.
Of Gullah freedom seekers in Florida as allies. The British armed and trained these black men and built a stout outpost at Prospect Bluff on the Apalachicola River. When the British withdrew at war's end, about 300 of their black allies remained at the fort, now claiming it as their own. Americans derisively labeled it the Neat Fort. There, men, women, and children lived defiant and free under a black commander named Garrison. In the summer of 1816, U.S. forces under General Edmund Gaines surrounded the fort, demanding surrender. The black Seminoles refused. On July 20th, 1816, American cannons fired a heated shot that landed in the fort's powder magazine, triggering a massive explosion that obliterated the stronghold in an instant. The blast killed an estimated 270 people, including women.
And notice they're telling you, black. Notice. They are saying black. Black. They've got black people thinking that we are African. We were already here. We are the Indians. We are the Indians. Indians have disappeared. You know why? Because of paper genocide. Because of reclassification. That's why, and you have to erase people's identity in order to take their land illegally but legally. If you can prove that these people don't exist, then I guess the land belongs to you now. And since everyone was reclassified as Negro or black, and this land was in sacred Indian land, and there's no more Indians through paper genocide, and the U.S. Census and the Dawes-Rose Act, then how easy is it to assume over 90+ million acres of land from indigenous people?
and children in one of the most horrific single massacres of self-liberated black.
Elizabeth Warren is living a lie. She's Indian through the $5 Indian Act. Through the $5 Indian Act. When they sold all the Westerners land that they had confiscated and stole from indigenous people, they sold it. If you paid people like Walter Plecker, who was employed by the U.S. Census, if you paid them $5, which is probably equivalent to maybe $200+ today, you were able to be labeled as an Indian. Appreciate the channel of truth and knowledge. Support and hit the like, share, and subscribe. Hype the videos. I appreciate that. Yeah, she is a joke. YouTube trying, y'all. Y'all know the numbers I normally put up. Y'all know the money I usually make. I'm not finna lay down for YouTube. I'm not finna lay down. I thought about quitting. I thought about backing out, but that's what they want. I just gotta find a way to get support off of here. I've got to find a way to make my money, as well as give my message of truth. I've got to survive out here too. That's why I always emphasize these pastors. If y'all can make sure these lying black pastors are okay, then it should be nothing for a truth teller, a truth speaker who can show you, who empowers you. I admit I'm not as consistent as I would like to be, but I live a single life. I'm going through a lot. My Cash App is pinned down here. It's $ Mr. Uncut Consciousness. You know, I'm grateful for any super chats at this time, and I'm grateful for any Cash Apps. I'm not making anything next month, and it's almost crunch time. So if people are able to send super chats, if you're able to send Cash Apps, it is greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. But I am who I say I am, and we are who we know we are. We aren't African Americans, ladies and gentlemen. We aren't. We've kicked ass for years, and we're laying down now as dormant people who've been taught to turn the other cheek. I say we rise up and we continue to kick ass. That is why they hate us. That is why they fear us. That is why they label us violent. Because we was going after their ass. Man, y'all better listen to this history, man.
In U.S. history. This atrocity marked the beginning of the First Seminole War. In 1818, General Andrew Jackson marched a U.S. Army deep into Florida, intent on crushing the Seminoles and reclaiming every person of African descent. Black Seminoles and their Seminole allies fought desperately, using guerrilla tactics in the swamps and forests they knew so well. They burned plantations and ambushed American troops where they could. Though outgunned, they made Jackson's Florida campaign costly. Jackson himself admitted the war he was fighting was both against natives and black freedom fighters.
They beat the U.S. military. This man wasn't even president yet. That's the same Andrew Jackson that later became president. He hadn't even made president yet. We whooped his ass. Oh, I know they would love to see me quit. I'm trying to hang in there, but the numbers are plummeting. If y'all can tell other people about me, man, if y'all can hype the videos, go look at the videos, put them on repeat in your house, something, I need the numbers to come up. Subscribers, watch time, all of that, I need it to come up. The membership packages, I need it to come up. They're going to be taking my monetization here shortly anyways. Look at my numbers right now. Y'all know what type of people I usually have in here, man. 200, 300, 400 people in this chat, easy. Easy. This is what YouTube is doing to shadow ban the truth. The same way Jackson, Mississippi is trying to shadow ban the truth of what happened to brother Nolan Wells. This is their tactics, man. These are their tactics. I don't do this for the love of money, but money is a necessity in today's world. And I know y'all understand that sentiment. So I need that support. I watch other people's YouTube channels, and they have people who sending them super chats, Cash Apps, whatever. I start with zeros on my screen. I end with zeros on my screen. And I don't let that interfere with my message. because I want my message to be loud and clear, because my message is priceless. We need to stand up. We need to learn the truth. We need to unify. We need to support one another. It's not going to change. It's a priceless message. And it's more than a lying-ass pastor will give you. Amen.
He called it an Indian and Negro War, recognizing that Black Seminole resistance was at the war's heart. One Black leader, a Maroon commander named Nero, emerged to coordinate the scattered rebel forces after the fall of the Negro fort. Nero and his fighters harried the U.S. columns, refusing to surrender even as Jackson's troops overran Seminole towns. Ultimately, the Americans' superior numbers and resources forced a retreat. Jackson's soldiers
It's not telling you how many years. Those years was fought from the 1700s until like the 1800s. That was a long time. They're not telling you how long those wars took place. It wasn't like it was 3 attempts by the US government. It was like 3 attempts. Some was like 17 years apart, if I remember correctly.
torched villages, and captured or killed those they could. Nero himself fell in battle during an attack by Jackson's forces on the Alachua region, bravely buying time for others to escape south. The First Seminole War ended in an uneasy stalemate. Spain, unwilling to keep fighting the U.S., agreed to cede Florida to the Americans in 1821. Many Black Seminoles and Seminoles had already fled further into Florida's uncharted wetlands to evade Jackson's onslaught. They refused to be subjugated. Yet now the United States controlled Florida, and slave-holding settlers soon poured into the new territory, hungry for land and determined to reassert control over Black people. More enslaved men and women took their chances and ran away to join the Seminoles throughout the 1820s, seeking the protection of the Maroon communities. This inflow of runaways...
It kept going. It kept going. It kept going. They don't tell you about this in these schools. They want you to think you're just 13% of the population. You're not. They don't want you to ever get courageous enough to think that you can raise your hand and rise up again against them. They in control now. They in control now. You better not raise your hand at one of them. They'll put you under the jail.
On the ground.
But when we did raise our hand back, they couldn't with us. The Gullah Wars, ladies and gentlemen, not the Civil Wars. That was written by the United Daughters of the Confederacy. Okay? We're talking about the Gullah Wars. Let's tell the truth about it. Lincoln did not free us. Lincoln did not free us. I answer the call every time. I answer the call every time. Y'all know this. Anybody who's rocked with me know I answer the call every time. If you don't learn something when you come up in here, something's wrong. Even I learn something when I come up in here, and I'm hosting it. There you go, the Gullah Geechees. There you go, the Gullah Geechees. The Gullah Geechees. Yes, and Black people, I know y'all have heard the term Geechee. I know y'all have heard the term Geechee. Brother, you done heard the term Geechee, ain't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. I told y'all where black and white came from. Before then, everyone was identifying by tribe and location. Tribe and location. Tribal people has never identified by color. They identify by language, tribe, and location. Gullahs, Geechees, you're right. Because Tennessee played in. Thank you. That's where they're from. Thank you. Somebody doing their work. Go ahead, Storm. That's that Texas baby right there. That's that Texas baby. Go ahead, Storm.
Only heightened Southern planters' cries for action. Under U.S. rule...
Y'all, they trying to stop me, but they got to realize they can't stop me. Maybe I got to change up my lingo. Maybe I got to stop cussing so much. Maybe I got to stop hurting their feelings as much as I do. You know what I'm saying? But they are not going to stop me. You cannot stop the truth, man.
They don't want that many followers behind.
You can't stop the truth, man. You can't.
For what you be like Malcolm X.
They-
Got a lot of people.
My mama always called me her little Malcolm.
Guess what?
That's how COINTELPRO came into
That's
existence.
how Malcolm got killed.
And Martin Luther
Right,
King.
because they said he got too much power for one black man.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't understand what that power means.
Exactly.
They don't understand what that power means.
Ex-
When you got a whole group of motherfucking black people sticking together, hey man, yeah, that's a bombshell.
I'm telling people I'm that guy. I do this with the spirit of ancestors upon
That's
me,
a
man.
bombshell.
I'm that dude, man. I'm that dude. That's how COINTELPRO came into existence. They had to get the Black Panthers out of there too, using COINTELPRO. Malcolm X, COINTELPRO. Martin Luther King, COINTELPRO.
And them got the CIA killed him.
Yeah, they had
Their own
to.
government killed fucking Malcolm. Then the government,
Y'all got to learn your history, man.
government set Malcolm up for somebody else to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His own kind.
Yeah.
His own
Yeah, we
kind.
set him up for somebody else
And
to kill him.
Fred Hampton the same way. They paid somebody $300 to give him up. And they riddled his place with bullets.
Yeah,
Oh, I know my history.
They don't.
And listen, we could talk about Medgar Evers too, who was unalived as a child. And look what they did to Emmett Till. Huh? Look at Dick Rawlins with the fall of Black Wall Street.
Kunta Kinte.
A lot of people won't tell you, what, OG Gurley purchased over 30, he came out of Texas and purchased over 36 blocks of land, nothing but acres of land in Oklahoma, and told everyone that you cannot build or buy if you're not black. You know what that was later on called? Black Wall Street. If I'm lying, look it up and challenge me.
I seen it.
Huh?
I seen that.
I think his name was O.W. Gurley or something like that.
I seen it.
Look it up and challenge me.
The first black man that ever had Wall Street.
And he came from Texas and bought over 36 blocks. That is acres. 36 blocks.
They used to call it Blacktown or some kind of. They used to call
The
it
Black Wall Street,
They used to-
Tulsa, Oklahoma. I ain't got time to sit around on BS and watch cartoons and all this stuff. Man, listen, I like to feed my mind. I'm a sapiosexual. You want to turn me on? Turn me on with that mind. Let's have a deep conversation. Let's have an intellectual conversation. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I don't care how fine a woman is, dog. I don't care how fine a woman is. If she can't use that mind, listen, it ain't nothing up for me.
No.
I don't care how you look in them jeans. It ain't nothing up for me. If you still running around here talking about Jesus, it damn sure ain't nothing up for me. Nothing.
Mounted to uproot the Seminole sanctuary once and for all. American officials forced the Seminoles to sign the Treaty of Moultrie Creek in 1823, confining them to a reservation in Central Florida and, ominously, obligating them to apprehend and deliver any fugitive slaves to U.S. authorities. Of course, the Seminoles had no intention.
Oh yeah, I know about Bass Reeves. I just watched a documentary on him not too long ago. He was a slave. You know what I'm saying? His slave master was named, was it Charles Reeves or something like that? Charles Reeves. He beat the hell out of him because they gambled for his freedom, and the dude cheated with the Queen of Hearts. You know what I'm saying? He escaped. Later on became a U.S. Marshal. And my man was a sharpshooter too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know all about Bass Reeves. I told y'all I be on this, man.
Oh, all right.
I be on this. Now do it sound like I heard of Marshall Bass Reeves? Now do it sound like I've heard of Marshall Bass Reeves?
That name sounds familiar.
Betraying their black kin. Such U.S. demands only deepened the resolve of Black Seminoles and their native allies to hold on to their freedom. Through the late 1820s and early 1830s, tensions simmered. U.S. slave catchers prowled near Seminole lands, and some Black Seminoles moved with their communities to more remote areas to avoid conflict. The fragile peace could not last. By 1835, the United States was preparing to remove the Seminoles west of the Mississippi. This plan threatened to uproot the Black Seminoles and throw them back into bondage. Faced with this ultimate danger, the smoldering embers of resistance in Florida were about to erupt into an inferno. By the mid-1830s, the U.S. government moved to force.
I appreciate that, vegan Christianity. I appreciate that. Like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Please run the numbers up. Hype the videos, y'all. I got to bounce back. Don't let them take me down, tribe. Don't let them take the truth out, y'all. Don't let them take the truth out. Thank you, vegan. I ain't empty on my screen no more. Thank you, vegan. Don't let them take the truth out, y'all. Don't let me go out like this. Don't let it happen like this. We got to go out fighting, y'all. We got to go down fighting, y'all. We've seen this before, too. They silenced Malcolm. They're trying to silence all of us right now. It's time. It's time. If we can stand up and support Carmelo, we can support our truth tellers. Believe it or not, we're not wearing masks. These people know what we look like. These people dox our addresses too. They pull up. You know what I'm saying? They pull up. As you research the Buffalo Soldiers, you'll also realize that there was a woman who posed as a man for at least 2 years, and she was part of the Buffalo Soldiers.
The Seminoles out of Florida in line with the Indian Removal Act. Settlers lusted after Seminole lands, and slave owners hungered to recapture Black fugitives. Tension hit a breaking point in December 1835. On the 28th of that month, Seminole warriors, led in part by a young chief named Osceola, ambushed and annihilated a column of 107 U.S. soldiers in the pine woods of central Florida in what became known as the Dade Massacre, signaling that a full-scale war had begun. Around the same time, bands of Seminoles and Black Seminoles attacked sugar plantations in East Florida, burning estates to the ground. Enslaved Black people on those plantations seized the moment. Hundreds fled their masters during the chaos and ran toward the Seminole strongholds in the interior. By early 1836, nearly 400 enslaved African Americans had escaped and joined the uprising, making this the largest slave revolt in U.S. history. Thus began the Second Seminole War, fought from 1835 to 1842, was a monumental.
This is the second Seminole War. The second Seminole War. It wasn't the Civil War. It wasn't Abraham Lincoln. It was the Gullah Wars, and the fact that we actually fought back and whooped their ass. That's how we got our freedom. Yep, her name was Kathy Williams. Yep, that's the sister that was part of the Buffalo Soldiers. Yep, that's her, Kathy Williams. I know her name when I see it. That's her.
Guerrilla conflict that would.
I think she got ill and died like less than 2 years later or something like that. They wouldn't give her no merit, no valor, no nothing.
Rage for 7 years. It was the longest and costliest Indian war ever fought by the United States. From the U.S. perspective, it was an Indian insurgency, but for the Black freedom fighters, it was a war of liberation. This is not an Indian war, General Tom.
This is a Negro war, not an Indian war. Did y'all hear it? This is a Negro war, not an Indian war. Listen closely.
a monumental guerrilla conflict that would rage for 7 years. It was the longest and costliest Indian war ever fought by the United States. From the U.S. perspective, it was an Indian insurgency, but for the Black freedom fighters, it was a war of liberation. This is a need, not an Indian war, General Thomas Jessup admitted, acknowledging.
And I'm with you, Storm. She gets her acknowledgement from us. Salute Kathy Williams. Ashe. Salute Kathy Williams. See, I like that knowledge, man. I like that history. This is empowering to me, man. This is empowering to me. Yeah, I could be talking sports. I could be gaming. I could be talking politics. You know what I'm saying? There's lots of things I'm diverse in. But man, for some reason, this really resonates with me, man. This really resonates with me. And I don't want to switch my game up. Because then I feel like I'm not fulfilling my purpose and adhering to my calling. So I've got to find a way to make this work. I've got to find a way to get this shadow band off of me, man. I've got to find a way. Believe it or not even 300 people have come in and out of this room yet. And it's been almost 3 hours. But it's all good. The message got out. The message got out. And that's fine with me. I just got to get the money up, ladies and gentlemen. I got to get my I got to get the statistics up. And I can really use lots more women. Lots more women followers. The women get the movements moving. I say the women get the movements moving. Salute to the ladies.
That Black Seminoles were the driving force behind the resistance. Indeed, Black Seminole fighters had everything to lose if defeated. They knew that capture or surrender meant a return to slavery or death, so they fought with unmatched ferocity. Allied with their Seminole kin, they turned Florida's swamps and Everglades into a deadly theater of guerrilla warfare that confounded the U.S. Army. U.S. troops, including militia from southern states, poured into Florida to crush the rebellion. They encountered an enemy that seemed to vanish into the marshes at will. Black Seminoles and Seminoles carried out hit-and-run attacks that...
Yeah, I just want to show y'all. I just want y'all to see for proof. I just want y'all to see for proof. I just want y'all to see for proof, okay? For proof, black, 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 holding spears. Let's cook.
Melted into the palmetto thickets. They would strike at army forts, supply lines, and plantations, then disappear. Women and children in maroon communities had to stay hidden and move frequently to avoid surprise raids. The U.S. forces, frustrated by heavy losses and disease in the harsh terrain, began resorting to treachery, capturing leaders under false flags of truce. Osceola was seized in this way in 1837, weakening the Seminole side but not ending the fight. Black Seminole leader Abraham, pictured in typical Seminole attire holding a rifle, was revered among the Seminole for his military and diplomatic prowess. He served as a chief counselor to Seminole Chief Macanopy and acted as an interpreter during negotiations. Through Abraham's efforts, many Black Seminoles secured promises of freedom and safe passage in the midst of war. Black Seminole leaders like Abraham and others.
This was our Africa right here, y'all. This was our Africa right here. The same way those slaves in Africa had to fight, it's the same way we had to fight right here on our land once we were invaded and conquered. And conquered. Now this is the truth. This is history. This is factual. Factual. They will never, ever, ever teach you or your children this. in these schools. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. This don't make them look superior. This makes them look inferior. They're not going to give you this information. They're not. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you to the rest of your day. I'm going to do my best to hop back on here a little later. I always say that. I got to make myself do it. I'll be all depressed for the numbers and be like, what's the, you know what I'm saying? Why am I jumping up doing it and I'm not making anything? But, you know, I've got to suffer through. I guess I have to suffer through. So I'm going to make myself attempt to get back on here later on, you know, and we'll learn and grow a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, together a little later, you know, when we reconvene. But I want y'all to be encouraged, man. I want y'all to really know who you are. I want you to be comfortable in your skin, in your identity. I want you to be cautious of everything around you, even people who look like you. And I want you to always know that you're chosen. You're strong. They hate you for a reason. They hate you because of your strengths. They hate you because of your resilience. They hate you because of the insurmountable amount of fight in you. Keep it that way, ladies and gentlemen. Take that and be prideful. Take that and be prideful. Stand on it. Know who you are and never be ashamed. Don't complain about anything you can change. And you can change a lot just by standing up. Letting people know you know the truth. Stop celebrating pagan holidays. Tell your children the truth. Yes, you like seeing a smile on their face. Yes, you want them to be happy. Find something else to celebrate and do. Start a new legacy. But tell your children the truth. You don't want them walking around here being as blind as Nolan Wells and being a victim like Nolan Wells. And you don't want them forced to defend themselves like a Carmelo Anthony when all it takes is the truth. Communication works in any relationship, any friendship, any marriage, any family, any job, anywhere, any day, any time. And we've just got to start communicating more. And the same way they are on code, and the same way their people can do no wrong even though they're wrong, it's the same way we need to unify and stay on code and do no wrong so that we are never wrong. The higher powers, the ancestors, the universe is not going to find favor in us fighting a good fight for justice, and we're out here doing things that's unjustifiable. We have to stay within the guidelines of justice and walk a fine line of obeying the law in order to get this change. And we can do that. We're not like them. We don't have to resort to violence. I'm going to wrap up this campaign. Y'all, get your one-on-one. Get your one-on-one. Get your one-on-one with the real internal indigenous spiritual most high. Y'all stay prayed up, stay blessed up, stay meditated up, stay protected, stay real, stay conscious, stay uncut, be inspired, be great, be you. And to everyone in here today, thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your support. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's love, y'all. Thank you for making me feel good about what I do. Thank you for making me feel like I have a purpose. And you know what? No matter who's listening, at least y'all are listening. And that means the world to me. Ashe, my brothers and sisters. It's much love to the tribe, y'all. Salute.